morning, winners! Welcome to Terri's Tips. So listen, today is a big one. We're going to be talking about how to properly negotiate a settlement for a collection or a charge-off. Guys, listen, you need this. Go get a notebook and go get a pen, because our channel is about what? The bigger money. So for the bigger money, like business loans, for real estate investing, to be a first-time home buyer, when lenders are giving you $100,000, $200,000, $500,000, $1 million plus, they don't want to see that other companies have also lent to you and lost their money, that you did not pay them back. So it's 1,000% true. You may not have to be so meticulous and go through and make sure that every single collection is a zero balance or removed for smaller things like credit cards or like auto loans or like personal loans. But we're not talking about that. This is a wealth building ministry. So for the big money, you really want to make sure that all the collections are valid collections on your credit report, or at least a zero balance or deleted. So I'm going to help you guys out. So first, if you are new, welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Terri. I am a self-employed entrepreneur. I'm an investor. I am a mother. And every Tuesday and Thursday morning, I upload videos to YouTube about personal and business credit, real estate investing, entrepreneurship, home ownership, mindset, all of the above. And I would love for you to be a subscriber, like, share, comment, hit that notification button. Let me know if this information is helpful for you guys, because I choose my topics based on the questions that you guys ask and the feedback that I get from you, and also the most common mistakes I'm seeing when I'm kind of doing strategy sessions and working on your credit and doing personal and business consulting for you guys. All right, and I'll do my nugget at the end. So let's jump right in. You have a collection, you have a charge off, unpaid on your credit report, right? It's hurting your credit score. You're trying to actually qualify for financing. What do you do? All right, so number one, guys, always get a copy of your credit report from all three bureaus. It's about to be, look, we're in October. When I shot this video, we're in October, and we're about to be to income tax time. And many people make the mistake of just getting an income tax refund and paying a bunch of bills. And maybe they pay 10 collections, and they get their credit report and only 3 were showing. You wasted thousands of dollars. I'm not saying don't pay your debt, but what I am saying is you can be strategic and you can prioritize. So get a copy of your credit report from all 3 bureaus: TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. Go to annualcreditreport.com and know exactly what collections are actually reporting on your credit report. This is a big mistake that people make. You may have 10 collections on your dining room table, but only 2 are actually on your credit report. So when you're being strategic, trying to save yourself some money, trying to help your credit score, you're going to first work on the items reported on your credit file. That's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is still go through the dispute process first. I have a bunch of videos where I talked about using the FCRA, how to dispute items. It's always your right underneath of the Fair Credit Reporting Act as a consumer to dispute anything you feel is inaccurate, unfair, not validatable, outdated, anything you don't recognize, you don't know what it is, you disagree with it. Always exercise your rights underneath the Fair Credit Reporting Act first. That means disputing it with the credit bureau, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian in writing. Send them a letter saying you disagree with this debt and you want it to be removed and you want it to be validated, and do that first. Because honestly, guys, you can have 10 collections on your report. Through the dispute process, maybe 5 get removed and you're left with 5 valid debts. Even just that right there saved yourself hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars, okay? So get your report, do disputes first. Now you've gotten to the point where you are left with valid collections, valid charge-offs, meaning you know it was yours. You've written 10 million letters. Like I said, you'll see all these YouTube videos and all this information says don't pay a collection, don't pay a charge-off, but they're also not trying to be a mortgage real estate investor. They're also not trying to get their very first mortgage. They're not trying to get a business loan. And for the big money, they don't want to see these unpaid collections or charge-offs. So now you're at the point where it's a valid debt. Look, you know you did it. You know you went to Macy's and you charged up all these items you didn't pay. You went to the furniture store and got furniture, and for whatever reason you didn't pay. You know that you had, medical bills and you didn't pay. Whatever it is, it's valid negative. Look, no judgment zone. I'm not saying why. Life happens to all of us. It could be a divorce, could be, COVID-19 impacted you. It could be that it was a layoff. It could be you mismanaged your money. It could be somebody borrowed money from you, didn't pay it back. No judgment zone, okay, guys? But for whatever reason, it's a valid negative debt. Now, what do you do? So your goal is to have all collections, all charge-offs to either be deleted or a zero balance. Deleted or a zero balance, okay? So I never want you to make a payment arrangement. It's always the best option to make a one-time lump sum settlement, okay? So let me give you an example. Let's say you have a $1,000 collection. It is a valid negative debt, a valid collection, a valid charge-off. And now you're at the point where you must settle it. You must make it at least a zero balance to get to your goal. Guys, real quick, a tip. Don't let a $500 Nordstrom bill or let, a $1,000 AT&T collection or let, a $500 collection from a gym stand in the way of your destiny. Yes, you can go ahead and dispute items forever, but there is always a chance that valid negative debts will be validated. You guys know I tell you the real deal, okay? Because I want you to have real success. And so sometimes you need to know that sometimes you can do everything and a valid debt is validated. So now you must pay it. Now your goal is to make it a zero balance as quickly as possible. So let's say it's $1,000. It's a valid debt. Now, I don't always recommend paying it in full. Try to save yourself some money because honestly, paying a collection or charge off is not going to give you a great big boost of points. You may get some points, yes, but really what you're doing it for is for the approval criteria of the person next you're trying to qualify for. So you may pay a collection so you can get a mortgage pre-approval. You may pay a collection so you can get a business credit pre-approval or approval. You may pay an item because you want a real estate loan to invest. So you just want to get it to a zero balance as quickly as possible. That means paying maybe $600 or $400. That's a settlement. So my first tip is that normally when you're negotiating for settlements, that you can usually get between 40 and 60% knocked off. Have that money in the bank the day you make the phone call to them, okay? That is a tip, a huge tip, because half of your negotiating power is being able to actually knock it off and settle it that day over the phone, okay? The very next thing is make sure you always document the date, the time, the number, the person you spoke with. This is critical. A lot of these collection agencies are shady. Some of the bigger ones are okay, but a lot of them are very, very shady. So you don't want to go ahead and make an arrangement with somebody, then you have no recourse to go back and say who you spoke to or what they agreed to, okay? So always immediately document their name, their the date, the time, a contact number immediately, okay? The next thing is that get whatever arrangement that they agreed to in writing. So that means if it's $1,000 and they are agreeing to settle it, a settlement means that you are paying less than the full balance and they're agreeing to make it a zero in their files and close out their files, a zero on your credit report, and they are no longer going to collect from you. They are settling it. The debt is now kind of satisfied and they're not going to reach out to you anymore. They're agreeing to a settlement. It's $1,000. They're agreeing to $600. So you save yourself $400 in this case, okay? You want that in writing. I don't care if they have to email it to you, if they have to fax it to you. I don't care if they say, well, we can't email it, we can't fax it. You can say, hey, well, can you make this agreement good for 30 days and send it to me in writing first? I'm not comfortable paying it until I have our agreement in writing. Stand firm. If it's not in writing, it didn't happen. Look, it's law. Like, treat it like law. If you don't got proof, you didn't get it in writing, it didn't happen. Stand firm. Whatever agreement, if they're accepting $400 instead of $1,000, $600 instead of $1,000, if they agree to delete it, whatever agreement you come to, get it in writing, okay? Another tip is never, ever, ever give a collection agency, a debt collector, access to your checking account. No, guys. Some of the shady ones will go in there and take more money and good luck trying to get it back. Or they'll wipe your money out so you want to pay maybe with a prepaid card, maybe send a check, maybe a money order, maybe a debit card, but you don't have any other money in there. It's a separate account. They can't wipe you out. Do not give them access to your checking account. Do not. Some of them have gone in and wiped people out, and good luck trying to get your money back, okay? That's another tip. Another tip for negotiating is when you call them, guys, be nice. You're asking them to do something for you. So don't call them up and let's say, it's a $500 AT&T collection. Don't call them up and be like, why is this on my credit report? You're ruining my credit score. You better delete this. Good luck, okay? Call them and say, listen, I have an item on my credit report. I'm trying to work through it. I would like some help. How much do I owe? I always recommend you start with asking them, how much do I owe? You have your credit report already because you listened to me in step number 1, right? But ask them, how much do I owe? And they'll tell you it's $1,000, it's $2,000, it's $3,000. And they'll say, are you ready to pay that today? Because they fast talk you. $3,000, are you ready to pay that today? No, I don't have that amount. And guys, even if you have $3,000 in the bank, save yourself some money, because just like I said, you don't get a whole lot of extra points by paying a charge off or a collection. You're doing it because you needed to pass underwriting for real estate financing or for the bigger money to get an approval, okay? So save yourself some money. You just want to zero balance or delete it on your credit report. So say, no, I don't have $3,000, but I do have $900. Will you accept $900 today? Lowball it. I'm telling you to lowball it, guys. Now, don't be disrespectful. It's like $3,000. And you're like, I got $17.25. Like, OMG, like, you being disrespectful. Something low but reasonable. I don't have $3,000. Will you accept $900? Guys, the creditor, the debt collector, they're only going to say one or two things. They're either going to say, yes, we will, and great, you paid $900 for a $3,000 debt. You got to be a zero balance, closed in their file, they won't pursue you anymore, and you saved yourself a ton of money. That's a win-win situation. More importantly, now you're in the process, you're in position to be able to get approved for whatever it was you were trying to actually get. Now, let's say they say no. They may say, well, no, we can't accept $900, but we will accept $1,100. Well, you saved up maybe $2,000, maybe you had the whole $3,000. That's still a win. So go ahead and say, yes, I can do $1,100. Let me get that in writing first and get your name and your contact number. Go ahead and go for it, because your sole goal is to get it to a zero balance. You still saved yourself some money. Okay, and another thing too is look up, before you actually call them, look up the statute of limitations for debt collection in your state. Guys, it varies by state. So it can be anywhere between like 3 years and 7 years, sometimes 10 years that they can legally collect on a debt. So if you're in a state where it's only 3 years and you're at like 2 years and 10 months, but you must settle it because maybe you have a mortgage pending or a business loan pending, you can use that. Have some ammunition. You can say, listen, this is about to be where you can't collect on it anyway in a couple of months. Accept this $200 right now. You know what I mean? Then you could be like a little bit more firm, okay? But that's something you can just Google, the statute of limitations for debt collection in your state. That will vary. But know that actual date when you call, just so you have a little bit of ammunition on your side if you're close to that actual kind of date where they can no longer start collecting on that debt. Another tip for that too is that statute of limitation date does not go by when the debt was opened. It goes by usually the last activity or like the last payment. So if you have a debt from 2000 and it was always paid on time, then in 2015 was the last payment and went to collections, and say the statute of limitations is 3 years, then they can collect 3 years from 2015, okay? So know the open date of the debt, when the last payment or close date, or when it was turned over to collections, and then the statute of limitations in your state. You can just Google that and have that kind of ammunition. Another tip, look, I'm giving you guys game how to negotiate these collections and these charge-offs, is when you speak to them, let them know what hardship occurred. You don't have to give a bunch of detail, and I'm not going to tell you to lie. But if you're on the verge of filing bankruptcy, say that. Listen, I'm trying to settle these debts, but I might be having to file bankruptcy because I'm overwhelmed and it's too much. A lot of times they'll work with you because they'd rather get something than nothing. And a bankruptcy means they're going to get $0.00. Or say, I went through a medical hardship. I went through a financial hardship. Many of you guys genuinely did. You know, you were furloughed. You lost your job. You were laid off. You know, you went from a 2-income household to a 1-income household. You don't have to be super specific, but say, I went through a hardship. I don't have the full amount. Will you work with me? You're much more likely to get somebody to work with you than you are if you're cussing them out and being ignorant and doing all kinds of threats, okay? No, no, and no. Okay, and then the last thing is that after you actually settle the debt, make sure you request and you tell them in the beginning, I want a payment confirmation. You can even negotiate a deletion. Will you delete this after I pay it? If they agree to delete it, or if they actually do the payment confirmation, either way, get the deletion and or payment confirmation in writing. in writing, because as soon as you pay it, I mean, if you pay it on Monday, then Tuesday, I want you to dispute it again with the credit bureaus. This is a big step that is missing from a ton of videos, a ton of information, and from your actual process. Guys, they are notorious for taking your money, closing it out in their files, but they won't do their due diligence to actually update the credit report. Well, the whole reason why you did it was to update your credit report. So make sure your credit report is updated. So pay and then dispute it with the credit bureaus again immediately to force it to update, okay? And only send in like your proof of payment if you dispute it and it does not get deleted or updated to a zero balance. Let me say it again. As soon as you pay it, dispute it. Sometimes you'll get it deleted through the dispute process after you've paid it, or sometimes they just don't respond at all, or at least they will update it to a zero balance. Only send the credit bureau your proof of payment if you dispute it and it does not get deleted or does not update to a zero balance. Now you have proof and you can redispute it. But the better result is for it to be deleted. So sometimes you'll pay it and then dispute it, and because the company got their money, they just won't respond to the dispute, and that will force it to be deleted. Whereas if you pay it and then send the credit bureau proof of payment, the credit bureau will just update it to a zero balance and paid as opposed to deleting it. Game, y'all. The success is in the small details. So listen to what I'm telling you. And one other quick tip for people who have collections for like Verizon and AT&T and Comcast for like equipment, like you had equipment that you got, and I see a ton of people have collections because they didn't return the equipment. Return the equipment. Get proof and then reach back out to the collection agency. I've had people had like a $1,500 debt go down to like $300 because they returned their equipment. Then they just had to pay some extra fees and it almost got cut in half. So if you have equipment, if you have something from a digital company that you need, you still have the actual equipment, return it to a store, get some kind of proof, and a lot of times you can get that collection cut in half and then negotiate and you saved yourself a ton of money. I gave y'all game, okay? And so then real quick, our nugget, and I hope that was helpful because I gave you a ton of information. I told y'all to get a notebook and pen, okay? So you can write it all down. And so now after all of that, all of your collection should be removed or be a zero balance. No excuses. And for my nugget is I want you to get fed up with your situation. I mean it. You're only going to actually do the work and have change if you're fed up with where you are right now. And I mean, fed up with paycheck to paycheck, fed up with working for your employer, fed up with your weight, fed up with your relationship, fed up with your finances, fed up with your health, whatever it is that you're fed up with. Like, I need you to get so uncomfortable that you must, like, not that it's a need, that you must do something to change. Stop being complacent. Stop being stagnant. Stop being okay with where you are. And many of you have a ton of success. That's great. There's always another level. Stretch yourself. Go a little bit higher, but don't be okay with where you are right now. As soon as you're fed up, as soon as you're really uncomfortable, as soon as you really want better, you be the one to break the generational cycle of poverty. You be the homeowner. You be the business owner. You be the one that set the tone for leaving an inheritance, but not only for your kids, but for your grandkids and their kids and their family and their generations after that. Then you be the one to make the change, to lead by example, and then show the rest of your family and friends how to do it. Get fed up with your situation right now. Not now. Right now. Now is the time. Amen. All right. I hope that was helpful. Like, share, comment. We talked about collection payments and settlements. We talked about documenting, how to negotiate, what to say, what not to say, checking the statute of limitations, disputing it afterwards. I gave it all to you. Okay. So I hope that was helpful. Would love for you to be a subscriber, like, share, comment, and have a super amazing day on purpose, guys. Happy hands.